this matter of killing of the soldiers in their own home. This Muslim walked into the home. Fort Hood, he didn't choose Fort Bragg, Fort Benning, Fort Lee. He chose the largest military base, or the Muslims in their Al-Qaeda jihadist warfare plans chose the largest military installation on the entire planet to open fire, and was able to shoot for a large number of minutes, killing and maiming as he went. My friend, this was no single act of one, if you will, deranged minded psychiatrist. This was a terrorist act, and I'm just waiting. You know what would be interesting here? You know what would be very interesting about this matter that took place at Fort Hood, what I'm now referring to as 5/11, is for the long-legged Mac Daddy, General Casey, Secretary Gates, and a whole host of other snakes that are now leading our nation. We don't have a commander-in-chief, but them all to come out and issue a report with all kinds of proofs and documentations that Malik Nadal Hassan acted alone. And in having done so, therefore we shouldn't consider this terrorist. I'd love for them to go ahead, and I can't wait for them to issue that report. And then after they issue that report, then Osama bin Laden will then issue his report that it was America's second largest terrorist attack, and that it was planned in Afghanistan, and it was planned right under the noses of General McChrystal right there in Afghanistan. I know it's going to happen, and I can't wait for it to take place. The long-legged Mac Daddy is in a pickle. Let's be gentle about it. No, he's in a real tough strait, because what's going to happen, and they're going to have to issue some sort of report, and they can't drag their feet. The American people are going to force a report. We want to know why. And they're going to say, oh, he acted alone. And the moment he says that, then Osama's going to come out and say, no, he did not act alone. He was on assignment. He was a part of a sleeper cell. He integrated himself into the armed services. We've been planning this for 20 years. We've been planning it. For 20 years, we've been planning Fort Hood. For 20 years, Al-Qaeda has been planning Fort Hood. For 20 years. At that point, everybody's going to jack up the long-legged Mac Daddy. Everybody's going to jack him up. And all the news people. Y'all go ahead and report, news people, that this was a solitary act of a deranged man, shouldn't be considered terrorist. Go ahead, go on record. And I'm keeping records of everything every last one of y'all say. Because eventually Osama bin Laden is going to say, we've been planning it for 20 years. Isn't it great to have a heads up from someone like myself? Now, what you gonna do? What you gonna do? Hey! Chris Matthews, what you gonna do? Hey! Anderson Cooper, what you gonna do? Hey! Wolf Blitzer, hey! Big Leprechaun, what you gonna do? Hey! Nazi idiot, Glenn Beck, what y'all gonna say now? You don't know what to report, do you? Because if you come out and join the long-legged Mac Daddy, that this was simply a lone wolf terrorist act, and then Al-Qaeda issues a report that they ordered this 20 years ago. They ordered this sleeper cell 20 years ago, and not only did they order him, but they got more waiting. That's why Fort Hood was chosen, and that's why the Veterans Day season was the season. They've got more sleeper cells waiting. Go ahead, long-legged Mac Daddy. What you gonna do now? What you and Mike Mullen gonna do? What y'all gonna say? How you gonna handle this? What you gonna tell the American people? And don't forget Dr. James David Manning is on your case. That's right. No, we're gonna be able to expose it. We're gonna be able to expose. Would to God we could reach out to somehow or another to Osama and tell me, listen, go ahead and issue your report now. Don't wait till the long-legged Mac Daddy embarrasses himself and issues a statement that this was not a terrorist act. And then how are you going to explain to the families, to the 19 children that lost their mothers and fathers, how are you going to explain to them that you don't have enough sense to know what's a terrorist act and what's a cover-up to keep your Islamic love, your love for Islam, feathered and boasted. This is perhaps, my friends, perhaps one of the best days I've known in a long time, and let me tell you why. Two things. One is that Obama has covered up his ineligibility with money and with dung, and both of them will soon wear away. It's not patriotism that's supporting Obama. It's not blood. No one's willing to shed their blood for him, but enough money, you can buy people. And a number of people have been bought off. All the news people have been bought off. And it's been covered with dung. It'll soon wear off. And when it does, we're going to see that he's ineligible. And then we can prosecute everybody, take everybody to trial, including Chief Justice Roberts. And we're going to do it. No, we're going to do it. But the other thing is this, is that now the Obama administration's in a quandary. If they say that this incident on 5/11 was a single solitary act of a deranged Muslim savage, well, they won't say that, but I'm just giving you the dressing that you need to be able to fully identify. If they say it was just this Malik was acting alone, and then a report comes from Afghanistan, a tape is then floated into Al Jazeera that this event had been planned 20 years ago. What on earth are they going to say then? What on earth are they going to say then? At that point, people are going to demand, get that long-legged quasi-Muslim freak Obama out of the White House. Our young men and women are being killed because of his ineffectiveness. Not only that, but Admiral Mullen and all General Casey and all the rest of them don't have a clue to what's going on. And this makes this a great day. This makes this a great day. Because what I'm essentially saying is that no matter what report they issue, they're doomed. No matter what report. And by the way, there are going to be more attacks. This is just me talking now. There are going to be more attacks. No doubt about it. Fort Hood is the largest military installation on the planet. And we need to be absolutely clear about the fact that this was no accident. This was no accident. This was chosen, well planned, well executed, well delivered. Excellent work of Malik Nidal Hasan. Excellent work by him. And he's been praised, by the way, in the Islamic countries in Yemen, many of the imams and many of the terrorists. And by the way, most of the activity, most of the information we're now hearing about him with respect to his contacting the imam in Yemen for some more than 40 times, we're getting from the London Telegraph, a London newspaper. The American newspaper, they are so bought and sold, they won't even tell us the truth. I want to say something to y'all. It is the London Telegraph, I think, is the name of the newspaper. I know Telegraph is the name. All the reports we're getting about the statements that Nidal Hussein made in support of the Muslim savage terrorists that walked into a recruiting center in Little Rock, Arkansas, and killed the recruiter, and that Malik Nidal Hussein said that this was a good thing and he supported that. We're not getting that information from the American press, you need to know. New York Times is covering it up. The Los Angeles Times is covering it up. Fox News is covering it up. Hey, Glenn Beck is covering this up. They're not reporting. This information is coming in from London, from the London Telegraph. No American news agency will tell us the truth. Truth number two. This Nidal Hasan stated, Malik Nidal Hasan stated, that a suicide bomber is an honorable person, that a suicide bomber deserves the same kind of honor that an American soldier would get if he threw himself on a hand grenade and saved his comrades from being killed or maimed by the grenade. Malik Nidal Hasan likened the suicide bomber unto a military soldier, American soldier that does that, and he praised that activity. But we're not learning that from the New York Times. We're not learning that from Glenn Beck. He won't touch that. He's not telling you that. Guess where we're getting this news from? We're getting this news from the London Telegraph. No American news agency will report this because they don't want to make that quasi-freak, that bisexual, long-legged Mac Daddy Barack Hussein Obama look like the true idiot that he is. That's why all this information you hear coming out now is not coming from the American press. It's coming from the London Telegraph and other agencies, including Al Jazeera. Al Jazeera is feeding London Telegraph, and London Telegraph is feeding me. That's where the news is coming from. Here, what I'm trying to say to you is that America, wake up. The media is covering up the 14 deaths and the 49 shootings that the media is covering it up. Glenn Beck is covering it up. Chris Matthews is not on covering up, but going to bat. CNN is going to bat to protect him. What is this? Are not the lives of our soldiers more important than Obama's reputation?